Hey, what's up, guys? Drone B here, and I want to talk a little bit about wall traps today. I've been thinking a lot about wall traps all day, in large part because I was just attacked by a Tier 7 troop today. Tier 7, a person with Tier 7 troops, and it was planned. It's my friend. I had her attack me, and it hit hard, and I noticed my traps just got shredded. And after talking to a lot of people, this is kind of this is the thing. Traps just aren't as good against higher tier troops as they used to be, or aren't as good against equivalent troops as they once were. So here's an attack I got hit with. It's 160 or 171,500 tier 7 mages, and you can see it just ate up my tier 5 traps like they were nothing. Yeah, guys, so I was thinking, man, why are traps... I remember when traps like used to kick ass, right? But now, lately, it's like, oh, no, traps just get shredded. It's actually better if you have people with T5, T6, and T7 troops. It's better to not have traps. Unless you have an Ignis who's set up specifically for traps. I would say don't have traps, just have your troops. And I was trying to think, why is that? Why are traps so much worse? And I think what it is, guys, is early game, you don't have that much boost on troops, right? Like you're lucky if you have a couple hundred troop attack. That's with like good arbiter gear too. But as time's gone on, it's easier and people have much higher troop attack bonus. And like, look at this, I have almost 2,000, and I'm not close to what some people have. And you look at my armor, look at my HP, and then you have also warrior, mage, and cavalry buffs too, right, guys? But if you think about traps, what do they have? Okay, this is under 1,200 trap attack, and hardly any trap HP, and there's no trap armor, right? Like there's a slot for it, but you know, until we can get these boosts up, until we can get trap attack to like 5,000, trap HP to a couple thousand, and trap armor up to a couple thousand, traps just aren't going to be that effective late game. So, but they're still really good early game. That's what I'm thinking anyway. That's why I'm thinking. So it'd be cool if we had some new trap armor, right? Like what if they made some hero gear? So right now there's 2 gear that actually is okay for traps. There's Sentinel, and then also the Archean gear has some trap attack buff, 155 for the purple. So that's okay, right, guys? But the thing is, and the big one is the Sentinel weapon too. I think that has like, let's check it out here, guys. That does 41. That's actually pretty small. Yeah, so it'd be nice if we had some gear, some new trap-specific gear that increase your trap capacity, and maybe give us trap armor, and give us some trap HP and trap attack. That's what I want to see, guys. I think that'd be pretty cool. I said in one of my videos recently, one of the things I wanted Epic Action to add to this game is good defense gear. I would settle for good trap gear. I think that'd be cool. That would shift around the nature of things. Another thing to note too, guys, is think about how many troops we have. Like I've got, let's see, I've got just about 8 million. If I max it, I'll have just over 8. And think about how many traps you can build. Not that many, right? Like I can maybe make 225,000. Maybe you can get that to a couple million if you have Ignis maxed. But even at 2 million, that's still a fourth as many traps as troops. So you're going to need 4 times the trap attack buffs, like the trap buffs, to make them equivalent to or better than a troop buff, right? So you're going to need 400% trap attack to make a weapon worth it over 100% troop attack bonus, right? So it's just to make up the numbers difference. So we're going to need, if they do add something, we need a really big boost, guys. But yeah, it's a long intro. I was really just hoping to talk about traps, and I kind of went on why they're not good anymore. But Uh, yeah, guys. So the cool thing about traps is they're kind of like guardians, right? Like your traps have to die before your troops die, at least to an extent. Um, I say that, but if you have, say you have lightning ward traps and you have tier 1 troops, the tier 1 troops will die before the lightning ward traps do. Did I just say lightning? I meant ward traps. So it's not exactly like a guardian, but it's pretty close. If you have tier 3 troops and wards, the wards will die before the tier 3 troops. But if you have tier 1 troops and wards, the tier 1 troops will die first. So they're not exactly like guardians. Now, there's a little difference. But more or less, if you have the same tier troop or a close tier troop as you do your traps will die first. And that's cool, except for later game when the traps die so much easier than the troops. You're much more likely to die and lose, like not die, but you're much more likely to be defeated on your battle reports if you have traps than if you don't, because they're so much less buffed than the troops. I will say this real quick though, guys. If you have guardians, if you have maidens, if you have crowns guard, any type of guardian, I would go ahead and have traps too, because guardians die or are wounded before your traps are destroyed. So it basically, having traps, it won't hurt you. It'll just increase the damage you're going to deal to the enemy. Unless they eat through your guardians and then into your traps, then it might be detrimental. But another bad thing about traps too is they add a ton of power. If I build, well, let's see here. Each trap is 20 power, and that's quite a bit for a T5. Each T5 trap is 20 power. So if I add 200,000 troops, that's what is that? That's 1 million power it's going to add. No, that's 4 million power it's going to add. So wait, 4? Yeah, guys, I'm struggling with math today. It's been a long day. yeah. So 225 times 4, that is that's like 800, and that's 900,000. So that would be times 4. Why would I even say times 4? Times 20. Okay, guys, 225,000. I'm going to do this now, just to prove that I can, guys. 225,000 times 20 is that's 4.5 million. That's what it is, guys. It's 4.5 million. There we go. Close enough. So 4.5 million. That's a lot of power. So, if you're trying to trap people's heroes and they see that much power, they might not attack you. Depending on how much power you have and your realm age and everything. But so that's another downside of traps too, if you're trying to capture a hero. Yeah, let's get into traps. So reinforced walls, guys, I wouldn't build these at all, particularly because they deal no attack. So they're basically like a barrier protecting your troops, except for they're going to get shredded. Even against tier 1 troops, reinforced walls don't really do anything. You're better off with T1 troops than you are reinforced walls. Some people think like this adds armor or something equivalent to your troops, but it doesn't. It's just like a little, it gives you so many hit points that the other team has to get through before hitting your troops. And at 1 defense, they don't really do anything. So even in brand new realms, I wouldn't bother. Lightning brigades actually do decent against tier 1 troops. And I guess I should go ahead and say this. There's 3 different kinds of traps. The fire are strong against warriors. Lightning are strong against, mages? Yeah, and ice is strong against cavalry. And they're all weak against siege. Though I will say that early game, these traps, these barricades are going to hold up well against siege troops even. Like, don't be fooled. Even though they're weak for siege, they're going to hold up well against an equal tier siege troop. So a tier 1 siege, these guys will do pretty good against. Archers, they're like the tier 2 trap, and it's this similar scenario, they hold up very well against tier 1. They're going to wipe out any tier 1 troops, and they're going to hold up really good against tier 2 troops also. Anything higher than, so if you're in a realm with a bunch of people with tier 3 or better troops, you're better off probably not having any traps than having the archers, because the higher tier troops do eat through. Actually, I would still probably go ahead and recommend having the archers. If there's tier 4 in your realm, I wouldn't bother with the archers. Or at least if you're being attacked by tier 4, I wouldn't get the archers. Pits, guys, I have a special place in my heart for pits, because the first hero I ever captured was because I researched fire pits. I researched this before I got tier 3 troops. I went ahead and got the fire pit trap. So you need a University 20 to research these. And in my opinion, this is like the high point of traps. If you have pit traps in a realm where nobody has tier 4 or higher, you're like unattackable for sure. You can't attack if you have tier 3 troops. You can't attack somebody with any kind of pits, because you're just going to lose 99% of the time. So pits are really, really good against tier 3 troops. But once tier 4 enters the realm, pits are okay, but you're probably going to lose unless you have tons of troops behind the pits. In my opinion, they're like the high water mark of traps. If you're in a realm with T4, T5, T6 above troops, you can almost not even bother researching wards and totems. If you want to go watch one of my previous videos, I made a video on ward traps. The first time I researched ward traps, and I was rallied by a full wave of, I want to say, mostly T4. Maybe there's some T5 in there. And I remember my early success with pits against an equal tier troop. So I was thinking wards were going to kick some butt, and they really didn't do all that great. I was victorious, if I remember correctly, for that battle, but the wards did not eat the whole march like the pits do against tier 3 troops. So yeah, you can almost just not even bother with the wards and the totems. You might want to do it anyway, actually, just because, do the research anyway, just because you kind of have to do that if you want to get the higher levels of city defense attack and the like, right? Because you need the wards if you want to, max this one out, which is pretty good. This is 80% troop attack and 80% troop HP. Oh, actually 37. That's not as good as I would have thought. So maybe you want to research those just to get to the next wave. I didn't even bother doing this research because at this point, this number would have to be so high to make it worth it that I just haven't even bothered. But I did hear that if you level this one up, you can get a decent amount of trap capacity. So if you have an Ignis and you have them roomed up for traps, that's the exception, right? Then you can max out all this, and then it's probably worth building traps too, because Ignis gives pretty good trap attack bonus. Real quick, let me pull up my Ignis here. So Ignis is the closest thing to making traps viable, but even with a pretty high level Ignis, I wouldn't think that traps are exceptional. I would still, traps still, even with Ignis max, isn't that great. But let's just look here. 1,000 trap HP, so that's okay. That's still not, I guess that's okay, right? 1,000 trap attack, and big one is trap capacity. So if you have him max, that's 1,000,000 traps. I'd like to see these numbers higher. I really would. Against tier 7 troops, these traps are they're gonna make you not only are they gonna make you an easy target, but for tier 7, tier 6 troops. But they're going to make you an ideal target because traps have so much power in them that whoever attacks you, if you have millions of traps, they're going to get tons of points in RVRs. Real quick, guys, this trap repair, this is kind of cool. I want to say your traps will auto. It's sort of like a hospital for traps, if I remember correctly, or if I know correctly. But you know, again, these numbers aren't all that spectacular. So you know, I don't know. I wouldn't invest. I wouldn't invest points into this probably. And I guess if you purchase the trap repair pack, then maybe you would want to max this. Just they would synergize somewhat well. But again, you're just an easy target for people. You're just an easy target in RVRs until they give us some kind of new trap gear. Yeah, I probably wouldn't put any points into this. I'd rather have some of these maxed, right? I'd rather have this Master Tactician. That's going to buff your troops significantly. Whereas that repair capacity, you're not only going to have to be online to hit repair, but tier 7, they're going to just send multiple waves at you, just rip through any traps even as you repair them. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I'd probably avoid that. Trap building, that's a cost reduction, I think. Oh, building speed. Building speed. Traps don't take that long to build, so you could probably avoid putting points in that. Big ones, if you do Ignis, trap HP, trap attack, and then the trap capacity. But again, guys, unless you have like all the Archean gear, because that's really good for traps. And yeah, that's really it. The Sentinel gear wasn't as good as I thought it was for traps. There are gems for traps. So if you do have Ignis and you are going for the trap thing, there are you know, there are gems for trap attack. So it wouldn't hurt to have some of those. 97%, which is the same as the other level 7 troop buffs. And to be perfectly honest, guys, I'd rather have this 97% mage attack than 97% trap. Because think about how many mages you have versus how many traps you have. Right? Like, I've got, I'm pretty heavy mages, but, you know, 3 million mages. So give them a 97% buff rather than a 200,000 trap. Right? Even with the Ignis maxed, even with this research maxed, that's still not going to be 3 million traps. So, yeah, guys, I'm not a believer in wall defense once tier 4 troops are in the realm. I think at that point, you're better off investing in troop research rather than trap research. That's my take. And yeah, I'm not even going to build traps anymore until there's some kind of trap buff coming out. I know there are some boosts that are decent. So you know, maybe if you have, let's see, if we come in here to war. So I've got okay, I've got this 1000% trap attack. If you have a bunch of these boosts and you're prepared to use them, that's another case for having traps, right? Like maybe I want to build traps one more time and just to use this boost once, and then once they're destroyed, then, you know, not rebuild them. That's probably what I'll do. Yeah, guys, so if you're curious how many traps you can build, a lot of it is dependent on your wall level. That's pretty much, well, it is somewhat dependent on your wall level. You get, I want to say it's 500 per level. You get 500 more traps each upgrade. Let's just confirm that that's right. Actually, it looks like at Citadel or at wall 45 to 46, it changes and it increases to higher numbers. So rather than a 500 boost, it's 1,000 for this upgrade. So that gives me hope. Maybe they realize, like, okay, 26,000 traps, that's insignificant, especially when you're being attacked by 150,000 tier 7 troops. That's useless. So hopefully they do start giving us more and more as you level your wall up. I'll have to ask some people who are... Actually, if your wall is above like 60, let me know what your trap capacity is for your wall. I'd be curious to know that. Hopefully they kind of correct that somewhat. So, you know, it won't help me out for a while, but, you know, pretty soon everybody's going to have a Citadel 60 Empire, right? Like, at this rate, it'll probably be in a couple of months everybody will have a 60 in this realm. Because it gets easier and easier with time, right? Each pack, every day that goes on, the packs get 1,000 times better. Not every day, but every couple of months they get 1,000 times better. So what else, guys? Oh, there are some other things that I'd like to talk about traps. One thing is there's some pretty good, you know, more early game again, but there are boosts to increase your trap capacity. Let's see, what is it? Materials. There used to be another tab here. Oh, that's cool. You can send fire. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, there used to be another tab, guys. You used to be able to craft boosts in the Magitech converter, but no longer. That's interesting. Wow. Well, I think I still have some of the boosts that you could craft. Let me check that. Yeah, you could craft anything with this icon here, guys. You used to be able to craft in the Magitech converter, but they got rid of that for whatever reason. Darn, I should have crafted some more before they got rid of it. My bad. But yeah, there is, for instance, there is this buff, and you used to be able to get this one from tiles on behemoth monsters. You could farm these up, and this gives you 200,000 trap capacity. And there was another one with this icon that was similar. It was like a 200k trap capacity. And there's also a Halloween boost, a Halloween trap attack boost that was something like that also. So there are some boosts to increase your trap capacity, and once you build the traps, they are there. So for instance, if I go ahead and build the 200,000 traps, even when this, in 11 hours when this boost runs out, I'll still have all those traps there. But once those traps are destroyed, I can't rebuild them. I can't rebuild the 200,000, right? I can only rebuild the 20-something thousand that my capacity's at for my wall. So those are a couple things with traps. What am I missing here, guys? So there is that trap repair, and I think that's basically just like a hospital for traps. So your traps will be, they'll be salvageable if you're attacked. So it won't cost as much in terms of resources and speed ups to rebuild them. You can just, you know, hit that repair and queue them up. Yeah, guys. So if you're in a new realm and there aren't very many strong players, there aren't, you know, many people above Citadel 30, go ahead and build traps. But if there's T5, T6, T7 in your realm, unless you have a high-level Ignis max for traps, I wouldn't bother. That being said, we should start a petition, guys, to add trap gear, like trap buffing gear, because I think that would be super cool, especially if it was farmable. You know, let's make traps great again, guys. That's what I want to see. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. I'll be making more and more videos for that starter series. I've been it's actually a lot of fun in that new realm. I forgot how fun it is starting out because it's like you don't have to spend money right when the realm starts. Like everybody's significant. Like I mean the realm's only a week old right now, but nobody has tier 3 yet. Like there's maybe one guy with tier 3 troops. So it makes it's somehow way more exciting that everyone's kind of on the same playing field. Like tier 2 isn't that much better than tier 1. So you can still do rallies with the tier 1 troops, with the tier 2 troops. In a lot of ways it's like even today I was attacked by like one dude with like tons of tier 1 troops, and it was just super exciting for some reason. I don't even know why. But yes, I've been having fun with that. If you're in an old realm and you still want to play the game, but you're getting zeroed like way too easy every day or something, it might be fun to start a new account in a new realm and just have some fun with it again, because it's been a blast for me, man. It's sort of like reinstilled some excitement back in me. Forgot how fun it is to do that rally with your guild for the first time. Yeah, guys, so that's it for today. Oh, one other thing. We have a new monster. We have a trench lumberer. Nothing too significant about it, other than it's a new monster you can get for the monster farm if your monster farm is level 9. It's pretty good. Not amazing, but it's nice to see some troop HP monsters. 450. That's okay. That's better than anything I have. But I don't have level 9 monster farm. So kind of cool. I like seeing new monsters on the map. Yeah, guys. So Drone B out.